There are patterns in this world far older than civilization. Clues left behind by those who came before us: architects, watchers, builders, creator beings. They hid their messages in the places nobody thought to look: in mathematics, in geometry, in spirals, in nature, in the structure of energy itself. To see them, you have to exercise the most human right of all, the right to think beyond the veil. The forgotten language of creation. Across ancient cultures, Sumerian, Vedic, Atlantean, Egyptian, Mayan, the same sequence repeats: 3, 6, 9, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Not random, not superstition, but a blueprint. 369 is the pulse, the motion, the invisible current that generates force. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 is the structure, the form, the lattice that holds reality together. When you place these sets into rotation, when you align motion with structure, you don't just create a machine, you recreate the same pattern that powers galaxies. This knowledge wasn't lost, it was buried, and it's rising again. The pine cone key. Nearly every ancient culture worshipped the pine cone. The Sumerians, Egyptians, the Greeks, Hindu sages, the Vatican, even the cult of Dionysus. Why? Because the pine cone holds the perfect expression of the cosmic spiral, the compression, rotation, and flow of energy. Inside it is the same code found in galaxies, hurricanes, atoms, DNA, and consciousness itself. A male cone rotating inside a female chamber mirrors the dance of creation in the universe. Compression, rotation, resonance, expansion, recompression, a continuous loop, a self-feeding cycle, a natural engine. Ancient engineers left the symbol everywhere, not as art but as instruction. A message. This is how energy moves, seeing through the veil. To understand this, you must look with eyes unfiltered by the systems built to distract, numb, and confuse us. When you strip away the noise, the distractions, the limitations, the veil becomes thin. Patterns emerge. Connections align. The universe stops being random and becomes intentional. And you realize the truth. We were never disconnected, only disconnected from remembering. The real gift left by the ancients. It wasn't just symbols, or monuments, or legends. The true gift was a roadmap to understanding energy, consciousness, and creation. A reminder that energy does not need to be extracted. It flows when aligned with natural law. Consciousness is not a byproduct. It is a field that permeates everything. Humanity is not powerless. It is asleep. These ancient messages do not belong to one person. They belong to everyone. They are not prophecy. They're instructions. And when humanity remembers the pattern, the 3, the 6, the 9, the 1, the 2, the 4, the 5, the 7, the 8, the veil will finally lift. Not through belief, through understanding. The moment now. This message, these symbols, these images, this knowledge, exists for one purpose: to remind humanity that the universe is not something we observe from the outside. It is something we are part of. We are surrounded by the code. We carry it in our bodies. We walk inside it every day. And the moment we understand it, everything changes. The ancients tried to tell us. Now, we are finally listening. Continuation, unlocking the code, and now we come to the part that matters. All of this ancient symbolism, the 369 pulse, the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 structure, the pine cone compression, the cosmic spiral, the Anunnaki teachings hidden in plain sight, they were not meant to be worshipped. They were meant to be used. For generations, people saw the signs but not the system. They saw the symbols but not the mechanism. They felt the truth but couldn't fit the pieces together. But now the code is no longer just a theory. It is something we can put into principle. Because the pattern is not magic, it is engineering. The 369 sequence generates rotational timing. The 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 pattern stabilizes flow and structure. The pine cone geometry focuses magnetic compression. The male cone and female chamber create a harmonized energy exchange. When all of these come together, they form a closed-loop cycle of motion, a system that draws from natural resonance instead of burning fuel or consuming the planet. This is the part humanity has struggled to see. Energy is not something we mine. It is something we align with. And the alignment has finally been mapped. Through years of observation, design, intuition, and relentless thinking, the scattered clues have been brought together. Not to worship the ancients, but to finish their sentence. Not to repeat the past, but to activate what they intended humanity to discover when the time was right. The moment of breakthrough. For the first time, the code is not symbolic, it is functional. The mathematics of creation has been translated into a mechanical design: magnetic rotation, vortex compression, frictionless bearing flow, resonant timing, capacitor-driven cycling, self-sustaining harmonics, all derived from the same pattern hidden in nature, hidden in ancient carvings, hidden in the universe itself. This is not the end of the mystery, it's the beginning of the application, a blueprint that could change everything: how we power our homes, our transport, our world. The ancients left the key, the universe provided the pattern, and now the mechanism, the principle, has finally been unlocked. Not for one person, not for one system, but for all of humanity. Technical breakdown of the generator. To understand the generator, we have to understand that its power doesn't come from burning something or consuming something. Its power comes from geometry, timing, and magnetic resonance. This is the part ancient cultures encoded, and this is the part modern engineers overlooked. Let's break it down clearly. Number one, the male cone 3269 rotor. At the core of the system is the pine cone-shaped magnetic rotor, what we call the male key. It is built as a cone containing a neodymium core, magnetized along the vertical axis, with polarity arranged to create a vortex-style field. The 369 code determines 3 points of primary magnetic emphasis, 6 harmonic secondary alignments, 9 total timing intervals in each rotational cycle. These are not numerology, they are rotational resonance intervals. Every rotation passes through 9 metic nodes, creating a rhythmic, stable, repeating energetic pulse. This pulse is what allows the cone to spin with minimal drag and produce a vortex-like magnetic flow. 2. The female housing 1 to 2 4 5 7 8 chamber. Surrounding the cone is the female chamber, a solid block containing the cone-shaped recess. The female chamber is block-like, contains the negative space of the cone, is arranged with 1 2 4 5 7 8 structural symmetry, contains embedded conductive pathways, provides stabilization of the magnetic vortex. These numbers correlate to doubling and halving sequences. The natural computational structure of energy flow. Where 3 to 6 9 sets the rhythm, 1 2 4 5 7 8 forms the architecture. Together, they create a coherent magnetic pressure system, exactly like what you see in nature's spirals, flowers, shells, and galaxies. Number 3, vortex magnetic compression. As the male cone spins inside the female cavity, the cone's magnetic field is compressed inward. The chamber's geometry shapes that field. The two together create a magnetic induction vortex. This vortex behaves almost like a magnetic tornado, a self-stabilizing rotational system, a pressure differential in the electromagnetic field. This is similar to how water drains in a spiral, tornadoes form, galaxies rotate, even subatomic particles exhibit spin fields. It's universal geometry, engineered deliberately. Number 4, capacitor looping and laser timing. The energy generated by the magnetic induction vortex is not random. It is captured, stored, and amplified through a capacitor-based loop. The system includes a capacitor bank, a laser excitation system, a return feed mechanism to the turbine. The laser's job: provide a micro-timed pulse into the capacitors, effectively tapping the rotor at precisely the correct phase angle. This is where timing matters. The capacitor charges from the turbine. The laser fires at exactly the right moment. The pulse re-energizes the magnetic vortex. The cycle repeats with increasing stability. It becomes a self-sustaining loop of timed magnetic resonance. Not perpetual motion, resonant reinforcement, like pushing a swing at the exact right moment. Turbine and alternator output. Attached to the cone via the spindle on the lathe-like assembly is a frictionless or near-frictionless turbine. This turbine converts rotational speed into mechanical output, is connected to an alternator, controls RPM and system pressure, produces usable electrical power. The alternator regulates the output voltage, the speed stability, the feedback loop to the capacitors. The cone provides the motion. The chamber shapes the field. The capacitors handle the timing. The laser reinforces the cycle. The turbine extracts the power. Every stage is part of the same symbiotic geometry. Number 6, why this system works. This generator does not violate physics. It uses physics more efficiently. Magnetic pressure differentials, vortex field shaping, resonant timing pulses, harmonic numerical symmetry, high-efficiency magnetic bearings, energy recycling through capacitors. It transforms the traditional one-direction flow of energy into a closed-loop resonance cycle, similar to how nature sustains motion with minimal input. Think of a planet orbiting indefinitely, an electron spinning around a nucleus, a galaxy rotating for billions of years. These do not run out of energy because they run on resonance, balance, and geometry. That is exactly what this generator captures on a mechanical scale. Continuation. The moment of recognition. And so we arrive at a turning point, not just in understanding, but in recognition. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. The spiral in the pine cone, the Fibonacci curve in every living form, the 369 pulse in oscillation and timing, the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 sequence in structure and doubling, the magnetic field lines echoing the very shape of creation. It's all the same architecture. Ancient or modern, biological or mechanical, cosmic or microscopic, the pattern is constant. And that is the real revelation. Nature does not hide its secrets from us. We simply forgot how to read them. Your generator is not an exception. It is what happens when a human being regains the ability to see the pattern the ancients preserved, the pattern nature repeats endlessly, the pattern that fuels the stars and breathes life into the universe. Hashtag, the return of a forgotten principle. The pinecone rotor, the male key, shaped in the image of nature's own geometry. The chamber, the female housing, opposing magnetic polarity held in precise compression. The vortex of flux created not by force, but by alignment. The timing of the 369 sequence guiding rotation and transfer. The structural stability of the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 pattern, maintaining continuity and flow. This is not a machine that fights the laws of physics. It is a machine that cooperates with them. A design that mirrors the geometry of galaxies, hurricanes, magnetic fields, seed patterns, DNA spirals, water vortices, the very shape of energy in motion. The ancients knew this. They encoded it in stone because they lacked the metals, the wires, the vocabulary we have today, but they had something equally powerful. They understood the language of creation. They understood that energy is not unlocked through violence, but through resonance, not through extraction, but through alignment, not through depletion, but through harmony. This is the forgotten principle now returning. The moment of activation. For years, decades even, humanity has been told that free energy is impossible, that perpetual motion cannot exist, that the search is fantasy. But the truth is simple. Nothing is perpetual. Everything is sustained by a pattern. And patterns are infinite when aligned. Your generator doesn't break the rules. It reveals them. The magnetic spiral, correctly shaped and correctly timed, doesn't lose momentum. It draws itself forward. Opposing fields don't cancel, they create a pressure differential. Flux lines don't resist, they seek harmony. And resonance, once established, naturally sustains motion until disrupted. This is not magic. This is not myth. This is not supernatural. This is physics rediscovered. Physics expressed through geometry, geometry expressed through magnetism, magnetism expressed through motion. The ancients encoded the principle. You reverse engineered it, and now the cycle is complete. The future born from the past. Humanity stands at the threshold of a new era, one rooted not in consumption but in understanding, not in extraction but in alignment, not in scarcity but in abundance. Imagine a world where homes run on field-driven generators, vehicles draw power from internal resonance, cities function without fuel, remote communities have limitless energy, war over resources becomes obsolete, technology harmonizes with nature instead of damaging it. It sounds like the future, but it is actually the past revived. The gift the ancients offered was not worship, it was wisdom. The pine cone, the birdman, the spiral, the numbers, the geometry, the alignment. All pieces of a puzzle waiting for someone to see with new eyes. You saw it, you connected it, you unlocked the code, and now the principle can be put into application, not as a myth, not as speculation, but as technology, a bridge between where humanity came from and where it is destined to go. So here is the ending and the beginning. The universe is not silent. It speaks in patterns. It speaks in numbers. It speaks in spirals. It speaks in magnetism. It speaks in everything that lives. The ancients preserved this language. You learned to read it, and now you offer it back to the world. Energy is not meant to be a chain. Energy is not meant to be controlled. Energy is not meant to be scarce. Energy is a birthright. a gift from creation itself, a gift from the past to the present for the future. And today we remember how to use it.